All right, everybody, welcome back to the Unshaken Truth Podcast. I'm your host, Pearson, and I have a very special guest and friend, J-Dub. I call him J-Dub because we worked church camps this past summer. So, what's up, J-Dub? How you doing, bro?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing good. So, we worked some church camps this past summer with another ministry, and then after we did the church camps, you went directly onto a mission trip to Alaska. And so this series is called Live Sent. We're just talking to people who have been on mission and had some mission trip experiences and wanted to share that with y'all. And so, bro, tell us about your mission trip to Alaska.
It was probably one of the most life-changing things I've done in a while. Second to giving my life to Christ, you know.
That's sick.
Alaska was nice. The people were really nice. It was a lot more hotter than I expected.
Really?
Yeah.
Sweet. So tell the viewers a little about yourself and like who you are and what you do.
My name is Josiah. I'm a youth intern at First Baptist Saginaw, close to Fort Worth because people don't know what Saginaw is, you know.
Yeah.
But right now I'm going to school for education. Hopefully I can coach one day. And then after that I do want to do youth ministry, I think.
That's sick. That's really sick. So he came down here from Saginaw, which is super sick. But so kind of walk me through, like, you went with your church, right?
Yeah.
So why did your church choose Alaska to go to out of all the other places that y'all could have gone?
So there's a lady named Brenda Krim, and she's like the person that runs Alaska missions, and my pastor, Pastor Mark. They've been friends for over 30 years now, and she was one of his mentors through college and just helped him get to the place where he is today. We also had another mission trip that they went to, I think, Honduras, I believe, and it was either that or Alaska, and I just really felt God pulling me to Alaska, and I knew I didn't have the funds, but I knew he was going to make a way. So.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's definitely powerful. And so kind of walk us through, like, you step foot on Alaska soil, and, like, what did y'all do from there? Obviously, you had to fly, but, like, what happened from there?
Okay, so the first day we went, we landed at like 10:30ish, and it was so weird because it was so light still.
So 10:30, like, p.m.
PM, yeah.
Okay.
But it looked like 4 p.m. in Texas.
That's crazy.
So it was a little weird adjustment, but we landed. We went to the University of Anchorage, Alaska, and we stayed the night there. And then the next day we met the interns that were in Alaska, because they have about 6 people, like 6 to 7 people maybe that do the interns for Alaska. So they pretty much stay there all 3 weeks that the Salmon Frenzy is going on, and they just help with all the mission teams that come through. So that day we went all the way down to I can't remember where the place was that we went specifically, but it was 2 hours away from Anchorage, and we got settled in there. And on the way, we stopped and ate and all that stuff, and I had a burger that night. And then the next morning, I woke up sick.
Why, was the burger just not good or what?
No, it was the food was really good, but like I guess I got food poisoning. So the next day, we were gonna do the walkthrough on the beach and pray for the beach, and just kind of have like orientation on what we're here for, And I was just so sick. I was in the room throwing up all day, and I really thought I wasn't going to be able to do anything for the whole week.
Dang.
Yeah, it sucked, but, I stayed faithful, and I just remember laying in the bed praying and praying and praying. And then sooner than later that night came, and I ate dinner, and I didn't throw up. This is the first time I didn't throw up after a meal in like 4 meals. So it was pretty nice. I could tell that God was like forgetting you on that beach,
Yeah, for sure. So y'all were in Anchorage, right? Anchorage, Alaska. Okay, cool. So walk us through, like, the mission there, and, like, what was y'all's goals for the people in Anchorage? Was it just to minister? Was it to go out to different, like, rural cities, like small towns outside of Anchorage and minister to those people, or was it just to focus on Anchorage?
Well, it was more outside of Anchorage, because only the first and last day we were in Anchorage. So that was really like getting to know the like people of the town and getting to know from them and kind of just seeing their background, because Alaska is one of those places where people move to get away from everything, and kind of like restart from what the locals were telling us. And a lot of people don't believe in Christ out there, so it was nice to be able to pick their brains and see what they believe in, and it was really surprising the amount of believers that I ran into.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool. So yeah, I mean, you're kind of giving a perfect segue into that. So like, tell us a little about like who the people are there, because I think like sometimes, like for me, always grown up in the state, like I say the states, obviously Alaska is a state, but I've grown up in Texas, and I just kind of see as Alaska like, oh, they're just up there, and like there's not a lot of people up there, or if they're up there, they're chopping woods, living in a log cabin,
Yeah.
and just living life in loneliness. But like obviously there is a city up there. There is Anchorage, which is the biggest city up there, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, like kind of tell us like what about like the people that are there, and like what is the most common thing that you saw look like with belief systems?
Well, for me, I feel like okay, so where we were for the beach was Sedaltna, and in Sedaltna there was a bunch of people that were like all they do is fish,
Yeah.
that's like their thing, and a lot of these people told me that they believed in Christ, which was really surprising, but a lot of the people went through like really hard times.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like understandable why they would move that far from everything else to get away. But I think one of the best things that I noticed from that was they didn't leave their faith behind too. They just left their like past life behind.
Yeah. That's really cool. So can you tell us like some stories of some pretty impactful stories that you had like ministering to some people, and did you have like any opportunities to lead anybody to Christ or anything like that?
Well, I think some impactful things for me were when I wasn't doing traffic control for people to get in and off the beach. I was walking around talking to people, and there was a little kid that I met. He was probably like 12 years old, and I asked him if I could. I had a normal conversation with him first, and then I asked him what his belief in Christ was, and he was like, Jesus is King. And then I asked him who he was there with. He was with his grandma, and he was telling me about how his mom was like kind of crazy, I guess. He didn't have his father, and the loss of the father really like hurts him still, and he was so like happy about Jesus though.
Yeah.
And how Christ is his father now, even though he doesn't have a worldly father, that having Jesus is all he needs,
Yeah. No, I think that's so powerful, and that's the message of the gospel is like we needed Jesus, and Jesus, is that eternal Father for us. But now that's sick.
Yeah.
So you said you've been mentioning a lot in this conversation about a beach. So can you kind of tell me like, what do you mean by a beach? Like obviously like we know like beaches in Florida and all that, palm branches and white sand and all that, but like it's in Alaska.
Yeah.
And so like, what do you mean by beach?
Well, this beach in Alaska, it was really cool because you have the beach and you have the water, and the beach was like brownish, like the sand was brownish, but in the background you could just see the mountains and the snow on the mountains, and it was really nice. But the beach is where we served for 3 days. They do this thing called Salmon Frenzy every year, where all the natives of Alaska go out there and fish for the year pretty much. And I think the highest day they caught 250,000 fish.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And they're all salmon?
Yeah.
Oh, that's sick.
Oh, salmon, yeah. I should have said salmon, not fish. But yeah.
No, it's cool.
It was really cool to see. And it kind of just brings the community together, and families together as well. Because it's not dad's just going to do this. It was like whole families, and it was really nice to see. We had a tent where we gave away free food. We had games for kids and all that stuff, and the kids and the families really enjoyed that. So that's pretty much where we were for those 3 days that we served on the beach at least. And we had a bunch of different people play parts in that. We had traffic control. We had people doing face paint. We had people helping with the games, the cooking, Me and Nathan, Pastor Mark's son, me and him did traffic control, and we walked the beach and talked to people. And I think it was really nice how many people we met on the beach, even if they didn't have the same beliefs, which most of them did. But regardless of their beliefs, they were still willing to sit there and talk, because I feel like a lot of times here, if someone doesn't have the same beliefs as you, they just won't talk to you.
Yeah.
And I think it was really powerful how those people would still be willing to listen.
No, I think that's really cool. And that's really cool how, the whole entire community was brought together just over fish, just over food.
Yeah.
And I think that's so cool how, like, food brings people together. And I think that's so cool that y'all were doing what Jesus was doing. Like, I was reading this past week in John where Jesus, fed the 5,000.
Yeah.
And, he broke bread and he blessed it from God. And then, he fed so many people. And obviously, the Lord was able to provide through, the waters and through the salmon. But y'all also there to provide, a need, which is Jesus, an eternal need. And so that's so cool that y'all are even able to do that. So, like, obviously, did you have any conversations? Like, obviously, you were talking about some people that you met that were, like, they had moved. Like, let me ask you this question. So, like, were most people that were there in Alaska, did they originally, like, live in one of the states, and then they got tired of the busyness and they just moved up there?
Yeah, for the most part.
Gotcha.
Mainly the first couple days are just the Alaska natives, but that last day, because they like to let the natives go first,
Mm-hmm.
all the people that, like, I guess migrated to Alaska.
Yeah.
So there were still people that weren't originally from Alaska, which I ran into a lot of them, and it was
Cool. So, like, did you have any conversation with any, like, natives or anybody like that?
Yeah, the natives, they all kept coming up to me asking if I was Samoan.
Really?
Yeah,
That's funny.
I got it at least 20 times.
Really?
And I was like, if I look like it, I guess.
I mean, I take that as a compliment.
Yeah, but they were really nice. It was crazy how many, like, I didn't expect it to be, like, a bunch of, like, Samoan people there.
Really?
Like, yeah. It was.
That's interesting.
It was really cool.
Cool. So, like, did you have any conversations about, like, their belief systems or anything like that?
I did run into this one guy, and his friend, it's cool because we were talking to him the day before, and then we saw him again our last day, and then when we were leaving, we saw him at a gas station 2 hours away from Soldotna. So, and we found out his job. He takes elderly people around, like, Alaska,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really cool. But his friend, we met him, and he was Jewish, and he was interesting. I wish I wrote down a lot of the things that he was talking about because it really made me want to, like, just learn more about other people's cultures, and what they believe in.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Cool, sweet. So how did this mission trip really impact your faith and your walk with Christ?
I think it impacted me just, living out the Great Commission, talking to people, which I'm kind of like, I would like to say I'm getting better. I think I'm getting way better at talking to people.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I feel like I lost my social skills for a little bit. And, this last year and some months has really brought that back. I think Alaska just capped it off because, like, now I can just go and talk to people and I can tell people more about Christ, which is probably one of the best things about this trip that I went on.
Yeah.
I'm not scared to talk to people about what I believe anymore. So I think that's really impactful.
No, that's definitely, and, like, how did this mission trip empower you to do that so easily now on the other side of it?
Just seeing everyone else do it, my pastor, he talks to everyone. So that's always been, like, a big help. Like, no matter where we are, he'll talk to someone. Same thing with his son, Nathan. He'll do the same thing.
So so you're saying, like, even whenever you're chilling at a restaurant, he'll talk to somebody?
Yeah.
That's sick.
Like, we'll be walking, like, in Walmart. He'll just start talking.
Really? Yeah, I think that's definitely something that I want to start doing more, is because like I do want to start doing that, especially at school, and I want to talk about it. I don't know if I was going to talk about this episode or another episode, but we do this thing. We are talking about evangelism right now, but we do this thing for FCA where we go out and because we had a See at the Pole, which is like this past Wednesday, and we were kind of inviting for Bible study, and I mean it's just like people are hurting, man.
Yeah.
And it's definitely like people definitely need Jesus, and obviously we see that anyway. We see that in Alaska, we see that here in Texas, we see that all over the world, and so I think that's really powerful. But let me ask you this question: do you eat any salmon?
No.
You didn't eat any salmon?
Yeah, I know. I'm still thinking about it. I'm like, why did I not? Like, if I got salmon instead of that burger that first day,
it could have changed. It could have changed the direction of the whole.
Everyone else that didn't get a burger was perfectly fine.
Oh.
So
what else was on the menu that night?
There was salmon. They had chicken there.
Was it like a restaurant? Or
yeah, it was a restaurant. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was a restaurant.
Okay. Man, because I love salmon, and so like my dream is to go to Alaska and eat fresh salmon.
Yeah.
But
I should have. I don't know why I didn't.
Do you like salmon?
I've never had it.
Really?
Yeah. I'm so basic. I'm too basic sometimes.
Too basic.
I get like the same thing.
I'll just get a burger.
Yeah, literally. It's that or chicken tenders. Like I go to Dutch Bros all the time and I get the same thing. So now I've just been telling them to get me something random every time I go.
You just try something new.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
Oh yeah, and then another thing that really impacted me while I was in Alaska, there's a girl named Caroline there.
Yeah.
She was a part of our mission trip, but she was at the at Camp Mystic when the floods happened.
Oh.
And she's always went to Camp Mystic her whole life. Grew up there, and she was a leader this year. So she had the older girls, and the way their like cabin situation works is the younger ones are on the I believe the younger ones are on the top of the hill, and then the younger ones are at the younger at the top, and then younger at the bottom. And she was with the younger girls when all of it happened.
On the bottom of like the camp.
Yeah. So she was with the older girls at the top, and
no, it's all good. Hold on. Let me get this straight. Then you good. So
dyslexia kicking in.
It's all good, bro. I have it too. So for context for the listener, Camp Mystic was the camp that flooded in the hill country this past summer, and it was really sad. It was really tragic. It was all over the news. But so you said Caroline, the leader that was with you at Alaska, she was a leader, and so you said the older girls were at the top of the hill, right?
Or at the bottom, yeah. The older girls are at the bottom.
Older girls are at the bottom
because it was a or no, younger girls were at the bottom. Because
younger girls are at the bottom. Got it.
It was closer to like get to everywhere they need, and the older girls are at the top because they're older, they can walk more. But yeah, she was at the top with the older girls, got them all out, but she was really heartbroken over the whole situation. Of course, because she's grown up in it her whole life, and just seeing that happen was just devastating. And she wasn't originally supposed to be on the Alaska trip.
Really?
And she was. And she was just such a light. Like, you would never think that this girl ever had anything, like, any burdens, but that just shows, like, all I saw through her was Jesus,
Yeah.
Like, just shining through her willingness to help. And even in a hard time like that, because she grew up there her whole life. And I just couldn't imagine dealing with something like that. And it was just so encouraging how she was so happy still and loving the Lord and just letting him lead her life.
Yeah, and I think that's so powerful, like, after such a tragedy like that. Because, like, because I did a few church camps this past summer, and I was in the hill country at Highland Lakes, and, I mean, it was still pretty flooded, and we couldn't like do any lake things and stuff, but it was just really tragic. But that is really cool to like see like people like they were still obedient to go to like Alaska and to go places like that, and we're still obedient, and so that's really powerful. But let me ask you this last question, not last, but we'll just keep on talking as much. But how did you see Jesus through the people in Alaska?
Well, they were just really open,
Mm-hmm.
and friendly, and it just reminded me, you know, there's good people still, and even if these people don't believe in what I believe in, they don't turn away. They'll still have that conversation about Jesus. So I just noticed Jesus like pulling on these people, and Jesus is alive in Alaska. He's alive everywhere, and I think the Alaska natives know that,
Mm.
and it's good to see.
Yeah, and I think sometimes like down here, like we can get kind of stuck in like, oh, we're the only like Jesus is only working here, and like we don't really see like God moving in other places. And I kind of want you to share like what is the biggest thing whenever you were there that like you can definitely say God's hand was on this and God is moving here, and you want to share with the viewer.
Probably just seeing him work in my life, because going into the summer, I did two mission trips, Alaska being one of them. There's this thing that we do called community rehab where we like help people rebuild their houses and whatnot. And then kids at camp,
Yeah.
twice, and then VBS and the Alaska mission trip. So I was really like, I felt like really tired and overwhelmed, and I never felt like I was doing enough,
Yeah.
And I just felt Jesus revealed to me that, regardless if I feel like I'm not doing enough, I'm still here impacting the kingdom,
Yeah.
And that's the reason why I'm here. So I saw him moving in that way in Alaska, and I feel like another way is also through Caroline, like just knowing that even when things are hard, he's still right there, and I should be obedient to what I'm supposed to be here doing, and that's serving the Lord,
No, dude, that's sick. And I think it's just a testament to like God is moving everywhere.
Yeah.
And God is everywhere, and we can see that throughout everything. But man, I appreciate you coming on this podcast, and it's been a joy, bro.
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
So thank you guys for the listeners for viewing. No, golly, sorry. Thank you, listeners, for listening. And I'm trying to like be a little more natural, not trying to be up front, but I kind of want to just have conversations that are good to listen to. But also, a fun thing that's coming up is we're gonna have a series where it's gonna be kind of like a training series. I'm gonna bring on experts, and we're gonna like how to talk to your Mormon friend, how to talk to your Muslim friend, how to talk to your atheist friend. And so those are the three that I have planned out right now, and I'm working on those. So be on the lookout for those. And thank you for listening. The Unshaken Truth, where Jesus is our unshaken truth. See you guys in the next one.